Hey everyone, I'm attempting something new. I just wanted to play around with it a little bit, see if anyone likes it. Basically, going to be going through just a real quick video of, I wouldn't call it a deck tech, but basically a quick brew. I'm going to start doing up for Waste Not with some of the new war cards, and we're going to see what we can come up with kind of on the spot. Um, and just really see if there's something when we just take a look at it, if there's if there's a lot of fun potential looking at it. So we're gonna call it Waste Not Finale. We'll just choose some random thing here, 'cause it doesn't matter. All right, so let's start with the basic cards. We'll add 4 Waste Not. A fun fact: if you type in Waste Not in here, it will not come up. Fun little fact for someone who doesn't know. It just happens a lot to me. So then we're gonna go with the full caress, I think. We're gonna add the full kind of Waste Not package. We'll start with the burnings. So it's a pretty traditional list so far, just the simple stuff that makes Waste Not tick. But then I think this is where we start to get a little bit more intense, I think. We're going to put in 4 Ancestral Visions. This is just something I think that's going to be completely worth it because we're also going to put in 4 Electro Dominance. And then for sake of whatever we want to call it, these electrostatic bolts are going to be the finales. Finales are going to be the 2 red and an X. Um, you can cast a instant and or sorcery spell from your graveyard equal to X. So if we do just the finale with just a red and X, or double red with 2 red, we can cast like the Ancestral Visions for free from our graveyard. So it's something that's really really cool. Um, and then on that note, so we're gonna have the 4 Wheel of Fate. So we're gonna have something like that. So let's just put these. Actually, let's just grab something that's 2 CMC. Yeah, okay, that's what these will be. So these here, these are going to be our finales for right now, just as a representation. So then with this, our goal, I think, with the finale, it allows us to kind of go all out on wheel effects. Um, it could just get pretty absurd. We'll add 4 lootings. So now we're at 32 cards. Pretty hilarious looking um, curve here. So this gives us quite a bit of cards to play with still. So now we can either choose to go, we can choose to go interaction. So we can go Inquisitions, Bolts, Thought Seizes, things of that nature. Or we can go lean towards Hollow Ones, Arclight Phoenixes, Demigods, things of that nature too. So I think for my first run of the deck, I think I'm going to attempt to just be full on Waste Not. Uh, just wheel. Just kind of keep it turning. So with this, uh, we're gonna put in Dark Deals. Um, and like I said, this is a super rough draft. So obviously we have 4 of everything. Sometimes these will get trimmed down, but in general, this is probably pretty accurate for what we're gonna want to do. Um, and so now we're at 36 cards. I'm probably gonna shoot for 18 to 19 lands. Seems pretty good to me. I kind of have a pet peeve, or not a pet peeve. My pet card is pretty much Raven's Crime for any Waste Not Brew. Typically want to get in there. It's just so good at basically making sure your opponent doesn't have interaction. One good Waste Not trigger with some mana and a Raven's Crime, and you can just completely empty your opponent's hand. Now that doesn't always win the game, but I mean your opponent not having cards in hand is pretty good for trying to force through a win. So some of the other cool things is that we can kill with Electro Dominance, and I believe the finale also says that that's what it does. Um, and I think I can pull up the finale here. I'm not very good at editing or anything yet, so that's something I'm going to try to work on. So here's the card. Yeah, I didn't think that would matter. So basically it says, I wonder if I can get a bigger picture. Either way, it says you may cast up to one target instant and or sorcery from your graveyard with converted mana cost X or less without paying its mana cost. If a card cast this way would be put into your graveyard this turn, you exile it. And if we pay X for 10 or more, we copy each of those spells twice, and we may choose new targets for them. So it can get a little crazy, kind of getting into it. Um, Obviously, we're going to be trying to cast Wheel of Fates, Inquiries, Ancestral Visions. The only thing I'm at a struggle now is trying to find an instant that we can target. So my instant so far has actually been Electrodominance. Thinking about it, because we can do this for 4, which isn't out of the question. 4 is decent still for Modern, getting that down. So if we Finale of Promise for 4, we get to get back. We still can do a Wheel of Fate, an Ancestral Vision, a Burning Inquiry, or we can just do an Electrodominance and then cast our Ancestral Vision and Wheel of Fate from our hand. So the possibilities are kind of crazy for consistency of wheeling. So having 8 of these effects could be pretty crazy. Um, but yeah, so let's get this out of here. So let's say, oops, oh my gosh, I got rid of it. So let's say we go for the lands. We have 36 cards. So let's say we put in 2 Raven's Crime, 2 Raven Crime, yeah, Raven's Crime, and then so if we do something like this, having no removal or anything like that could hurt us. But I think kind of being like an all-in combo deck is probably worth it because we have so many reoccurring effects. It just again comes down to having the caress or the waste. Because just having a caress will pretty much win you the game with these many wheel effects. And the visions help us draw cards too. So let's just go. See, we have 38 cards right now. We could just slide in 2 bolts. I don't think that's a bad idea either. If we do 2 bolts and then 20 lands. And like I said, this is just a super first rough draft. I just wanted to kind of show how I just slap together a deck pretty much for Waste Not. And then I'll run it through a couple of test games, and then I'll run it through a couple leagues just to kind of see what's what. So we can kind of do the basics. We can go grab 4 Bloodstained Mires, 4, and I'm not even sure if these are the right ways to be doing this anymore. 4 Blood Crypt. So if you know of any better way to do the mana, I definitely am all open to hearing advice or anything of that nature. I'm wondering if it's worth to have like 1 Steam Vents. Yeah, I don't think it hurts. We have mountains. Because double red's the most important part. So 16 lands. We'll put in 2 swamp, and then a card that it doesn't necessarily have to be in here for anyone else that wants to try something like this, but this is just something that I really like. This card just pulled me out of so many situations that I find it just impossible to not to play with it anymore. It just gets you out of so many control games, so many games that stall out. If you get one of these out in a caress or a waste, you're just going to get so much value out of this land. I think it's really worth it. So like here's our super generic wheel deck. Land down a Waste Not, and then I mean just go to town. The other things we can do to try to like shore up some of this match is like say instead of these lightning bolts and say like 2 dark deals, we can do 4 simians. And and I think this is also way good. Just gets us early waste knot, early visions, early casting a waste knot on one, and then casting a wheel of fate on two is pretty disgusting in my opinion. So it just allows you to get so much value out of it. And really, all you're trying to do at that point, because you're generating black mana from a wheel, more than likely you're getting some land. You're gonna try to play a caress, and then if you hit a Simian Spirit Guide, you get Inquiry, and then at that point you can Raven Scram them down, some things like that. Even it might even be worth it to look into trying to do um, maybe a little more mana intensive like filtering. So instead of even having the dark deals, because they might not even be necessary, uh, you know, we could put in Pentad Prisms or any really other filter for red mana, because that's all you need usually going off is just the extra red mana. But if we're not feeling that too, there's just lots of options. Like our board could have like Yehenis. Like we can have Yehenis in the board for all of our for removal, but then it also lets us trigger our Wheel of Fates and Visions and everything else in our deck, really. And then we have Carry Zevs if we maybe need that. We can always put some of that in the board, and that card does wonders too. It's a surprise factor. It's not the best always, but it could be a surprise factor taking opponents like um, Ulamog or Wormcoil, something like that, and just cleaning up with it can be pretty gross. But I'm gonna work on the board some more. Like I said, I just wanted to do a quick video, just a quick little. This is what I think could be happening. Some ideas we could try. Um, Let me know what you think. I didn't realize my camera's in the way most of the time, but oh well. We'll see what we can do. See what we think. Let me know what your thoughts are. This is my first time trying something like this, so I probably rambled on a lot. We'll just get over it and continue on, and we'll see what we can do. So, thanks again. Let me know what your thoughts. Shoot some comments down below. Let me know what you think. I'm gonna put this on Twitter. Hit me up. Let me know what's going on, and see you when the cards come out, man. See ya.